Alright, so this will be a quick tutorial on how to use feature scope in SolidWorks. The feature scope is essentially used for controlling its additional constraints and controlling features in a part. So, for example, this is a very basic part. This is only going to be used to demonstrate the concept behind using feature scope and why I would want to use it. So, this is a very simple cylinder. This is a 5-inch diameter cylinder, and then for these pieces, I actually sketched on top of this surface. So let me go into this sketch and I'll show you something. This sketch is actually a sketch contour. So what I did was I sketched on this face, I drew 2 circles, and I made them equal to each other, and then I converted this this edge of the cylinder, I converted that entity, and then I came back and then I trimmed off the arc that would have been here and the other arc that would have been here to give me these 2 separate pieces. So when and these are the same exact piece, and you can see how they're going all the way down. When I evaluate the feature, so using the selected contours, I selected this contour and then I selected this contour to extrude. I did a simple up to face and I selected this face. So, but notice right here, merge result. That button is unselected. This by default is always selected for every extrude you do. The reason we unselected this is because I want to result in 1, 2, 3 separate bodies. If I were to merge it as one result, I'll go ahead and check that for you to show you guys what normally would happen. You'd get one solid body. If I do a section view this way, you'll notice it's one solid piece all the way down. However, if I go back into that feature and I unselect this button, now leaving merge result unselected, when I check it off, notice how you see the line. You see the arc. That's because we have 3 separate bodies now. And you will now see a folder that is created called solid bodies. If you only have one body, this folder is not here. If you have more than one body, the folder automatically pops up. So this boss extrude is our main feature that we actually started with. And then this moon cylinder is a second body, and then this one is a third body. So now I have 3 bodies. A lot of times people wonder, why would I want 3 bodies? Why, if I try to, for example, for 3D printing, if your part has multiple bodies, the printer will try to put an air gap in between all these parts, which you don't want to do. But say you need these to be separate. The benefit of doing it as separate bodies is I can get rid of this center piece. Notice how I have 2 pieces now. I can now export each piece as its own part file. I can save it into a new part file. If you come over to the solid bodies folder and right click, you can see insert into new part. I can take that exact body that's highlighted in blue and then force it into its own SolidWorks part file, and then I can continue to save. It would have a reference icon because this would be referencing this part file. So that is something you want to watch out for. So I'm going to unhide this again, or show, unhide, same thing. So this tapped hole. This hole, most of the time if you did a through hole, it would go all the way through. Well, we have multiple bodies here, so we can actually have a few different options. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see this feature scope. Most of the time it's all bodies, so then when I select check, I'll go ahead and stop right here. This error, no valid edges for cosmetic thread. We basically pissed off SolidWorks. So ignore that. It's a cosmetic feature. It doesn't affect the functionality of the part. So notice that this hole goes all the way through the part. It goes all the way through all 3 bodies. Well, what if we were trying to calculate the mass of this entire part? And this body right here in real life does not have a through hole. If we were to weigh this or use mass properties, we would see that this weight right here, or this mass, is going to be different. We'll go ahead and mark this 3.43 pounds. I'll show you guys it'll change. So this is supposed to be solid, but currently we have a hole going all the way through it that's messing up our weight. So if you right click on the part, you edit your feature, you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that feature scope button. It'll say all bodies, like I explained a minute ago. Well, what you want to do is if you want to select different bodies, you select bodies. Auto select is automatically checked for you. Because we chose through all, it's thinking, oh, he wants to go all the way through. In this case, we don't want to, so you need to unselect that to open up the feature selection box, or the solid body selection box. So now I'll come up to our feature tree, and I will select this boss extrude and this boss extrude. Those are the two separate bodies that we want to hit. I don't want to hit the middle one. So with these two bodies selected, if I select the check mark, there's that cosmetic thread error again. Don't worry about it. So now the part looks similar from the outside, but if I section cut it, you'll notice that the hole only goes through the two separate bodies. It goes up to this face, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And now you can see in the mass that it weighs more because we removed that hole from the center body. So that's just a little bit of proof that your weights do matter on your hole placement. So by doing this, I'll hide this for you. So now you can see the hole actually performed its own up to surface, but it did it on both sides. So you couldn't do that with one feature. What you would have to do is you'd have to go create another plane and then put another through hole up to surface. So you just did 2 features worth of work, actually 4. You did 2 planes and 2 holes worth of work in one feature. So that is a basic understanding of how to use feature scope. Say you wanted to merge all of these bodies. I'll show you another trick. If you want to merge all these bodies, rather than going back into the sketch and then merging all the results, if you click on your toolbar and you click the button Insert and then Features, there's a button called Combine. If you click Combine, you can actually select what bodies you want to merge together. Say I want to merge this body and this body, but I want to keep this one off to the side. If I would have selected Merge Result in the sketch, all 3 of these by default would be merged into one body. This allows me to select which bodies I actually want to be together. If I select Add, they'll become one body. If I select Subtract, it'll delete these 2 bodies. It'll ask me for a main body, so I can select this saying, I want to keep this body, get rid of these ones. And then Common is just, it's pretty much the same thing as Add. Notice how nothing changes. So in this instance, I'm going to hit Add just to show you guys this. Notice how the arc went away. This is now one body. Our solid body folder only shows 2 bodies. This is just like a regular feature. You can come back in and edit this feature. So say, oh darn, I accidentally hit Add. I wanted to hit Subtract. Boom, you're now down to 1 body. Notice how our solid bodies folder has now been removed automatically. We're now down to 1 file. So, just a basic understanding of how everything works. And then we have everything back the way we were. So, hope this gave a little bit better insight on how to use feature scope with SolidWorks. It's a very, very handy tool, as well as combine and subtract.